Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Nishita, and first up, in a shocking freak accident, a senior citizen in Bengaluru was killed after he was hit by falling wooden boards. The victim, William D'Souza, aged 62, was speaking to his neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, outside his house when he was knocked out by wooden boards that came flying from the Brigade Magnum building located next door. But leave it as the man collapsed and the neighbor helped him. Two more boards came crashing down and hit him, and that was the end of the aged man. 62-year-old D'Souza breathed his last in Amritanagar after these huge boards came crashing down from on top of the Brigade building. And this is the neighbor who witnessed the entire incident unfold before her. It was quite a shocking incident that came to light. My colleague Bansi was on location just a while back. Let's listen in.
These sheets that they use for the construction, these sheets were being thrown carelessly at about 9 a.m. yesterday morning, when Mr. William D'Souza, who was here talking, suddenly was hit by one of these sheets, and even as he collapsed here, two more sheets came down from up there and hit him. Now the lady who was talking to him, Mrs. Rodriguez, is here with us. ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ sheets ಬಿಸಾಕ್ದಾಗ ಇವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ರು.
ಹೌದು, ನಾವು ಇಬ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೆವು. ಆವಾಗ ಸೀಟ್ ಬಂದು ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿತ್ತು. ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೂಲೆ ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಎರಡು ಸೀಟ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಎರಡು ಸೀಟ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದು ಬಿತ್ತು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸೀಟ್. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಸೀಟನ್ನು ಎಳೆದು ಹಾಕಿದೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಬ್ಬಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದೆ. ಎಬ್ಬಿಸುವಾಗ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಡ ನನಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು.
Now very curiously, this is the building which is under construction. This is the Brigade Magnum, and they have been throwing these sheets from about the upper floor, from about the 8th floor. Now a sheet that comes down at the force of gravity has hit this person, Mr. William, Brigade Magnum, and the person was seriously injured. He was taken to the hospital where he has since passed away. Now the Brigade Magnum authorities really haven't answered the questions, because how could they throw these sheets from up there? And with winds like these, with gusty winds like these sheets can hit anyone down here, and the consequence, as we have seen yesterday, can be fatal. Now a huge group of residents has gathered here, very unhappy with yesterday's the entire incident. Now, have you informed the police about this?
Yeah, we have informed, because through the association we have informed, and we took the person immediately to the hospital. And what happened was, in the hospital authorities also have informed them. Yeah.
Okay, so all these residents are extremely unhappy, and they have all gathered here. Now the reason is that the builders are throwing all norms to the winds. They are flouting all basic norms of safety, and they are carrying out with their building. Now very curiously, this Brigade Magnum and this RMZ is being built by the same contractor. Now when will the authorities wake up is the big question, because even as people here are gathered, very pained that one person had to pay with his life, the builders so far have done nothing to change the safety norms here, because they have not erected any kind of net or any kind of safety for the residents here. When will they wake up is the big question. The police have taken up a case, but so far the builders not really providing any substantial answers to the residents out here who are living still under a pall of fear. With camera person Ramu, this is Bansi for News 9.
Well, that is what transpired in Amritanagar. One senior citizen has lost his life due to the careless attitude of the workers working on the Brigade apartments nearby. These two wooden boards, which are often seen on construction sites, came flying from the Brigade apartments and came crashing down on the victim, who breathed his last even before help could arrive. Tragedy there striking in Amritanagar. 62-year-old D'Souza no more because of the carelessness on part of the workers there. And moving on now, an HR manager with a multinational company in the city was brutally murdered in Sun City apartment complex in Ibilur, sending shockwaves among the residents of the area. Now the accused has been arrested by the HSR layout police. The accused is none other than Saurabh Rastogi's colleague Roshan Chengappa. Currently, the police is questioning Saurabh Rastogi's wife Ankisha. On investigations, the police have found that Ankisha had made a number of phone calls to Roshan before Saurabh was murdered. The police are suspecting an extramarital affair to be behind this murder case. It was a shocking incident that had come to light, where a chartered accountant, Saurabh Rastogi, had breathed his last after his throat was slit in his own apartments in the plush Sun City apartments in HSR layout. But it did not end at that. The police suspected that a known person was involved in this act, considering that there was no forced entry into the apartment. After investigations, it was learnt that one Roshan Chengappa was constantly in touch with Saurabh's wife before and after the crime. And that's the reason why he's been taken into custody now. Whether he's confessed to the crime is not known. However, the police will also be inquiring the victim's wife in the case. The victim's wife is the one who reportedly called the neighbors to check on Saurabh when he did not answer the phone call the previous night and even the next morning. And the victim's wife is the one who drove the sense of curiosity as to what exactly happened to Saurabh when he did not answer the phone call. But is she involved in this crime? Is she too part of this entire murder mystery? Is something that we have to wait and watch and find out after she's interrogated, and if the police will divulge any details on that front. Well, rescue efforts are still on in Bijapur to save little Akshata. Manikandan's robot is getting ready for the third time to get into the borewell and rescue the girl. When the robot was inserted for the first time, they got a sandstone. Later, when there was a second attempt made, there was a small cave-in due to which the effort had to be abandoned. Manikandan will be trying to get the girl out in the third attempt. The robot was able to go down up to 30 feet, and a team of 15 medical professionals are on standby to ensure that the girl gets emergency treatment as soon as she pulled out. 3 ambulances are also present. There is continuous supply of oxygen that is being given to the child as well. Well, in fact, it has been 42 hours since Akshata has fallen into the borewell. It is an extremely narrow borewell. In the first few hours, she might have not even received oxygen to breathe easy, and she must have been petrified and wailing. So what is the condition of the little girl now is not known at the moment. The officials continuing with the rescue operations, they continued all through the night and now even during the day. Hoping against hope, the family members of little Akshata are praying that she returns and emerges safely from this entire mess. It is taking a tad too long for this little one to sustain herself against all odds in this narrow pipe that she has fallen into. Well, my colleague Akshata joins us with all the latest details from Bijapur. Well, Akshata, what are the latest?
Well, Nishita, the rescue operations are continuing. We're looking at the digging continuing. A lot of people have also come together now, localites. They are stating, of course, that by about 5 o'clock we should be able to know exactly whether they will be able to get Akshata out today or not. But there is no confirmation on that front. The officials are remaining rather tight-lipped as to exactly when we can expect there to be a result, when we can expect the rescue operations to come to an end. They themselves are pretty wary of the fact that they risk that huge stone to get past, and it's not easy having to drill their way through that. But even as we speak about all that, the weather is also not holding up too well, Nishita. There are clouds in the horizon. It could rain, but that was the case yesterday as well. It looked like it would rain come the night, but it was fine. So of course, there's no word on whether it will rain or whether it's just mere passing clouds. But the rescue officials are wary of that as well, of whether rain will go ahead and hamper their operations. In all, it doesn't look like too many things are in their favor, but they are working very, very hard, working against time to ensure that they do go ahead and finish those rescue operations and bring Akshata out of that particular borewell, Nishita. Also, of course, what we have to keep in mind is that it's been over 36 hours, nearing 48 hours since she in fact fell into that particular borewell. So chances of survival will keep reducing with every passing minute. Yes, they have put an oxygen down there, but that too, there's a lot of questions about whether it's actually reaching her, considering that when they claim that there's a lot of debris over her, and also while they did remove some of it, they're stating that there's still a lot more, so that could be an issue as well. As we have to wait and watch to see exactly what happens. One is, of course, whether the rescue operations will come to an end today, and second, if it does, will Akshata be alive, or was it a little too late, Nishita?
Right, absolutely. And also we understand that the digging is still underway. The horizontal digging has progressed, but by when can they reach the little girl? Is there any clarity on, is there any deadline of sorts that the officials are giving?
Well, they don't have a deadline at hand because it's difficult for them, Nishita, to figure out exactly when they can go ahead and say that, this is when we should be able to get to that level. Because at the end of the day, every time when they say that they're close, they encounter another issue, especially with those granite stones. So that is what is creating havoc for them. And of course, as of now, we understand that initially it was being said that completely will be done by machinery. But now once again, they're stating that in all likelihood they will go down manually and fish Akshata out of that particular borewell. But we will have to wait and watch to see what tactic they take up because it depends on that particular stone. It depends on how far the particular JCBs and the machine, the drilling can go ahead and pull out the stones. After that, of course, they will have to use a jackhammer to go ahead and send and crack up those stones to ensure that it all falls apart. But it's anyone's guess at this point, Nishita, as to how long the rescue operations will continue.
Right, absolutely. And also, Akshata, are there constant checks being done as far as the condition of the little girl is concerned? Are there cameras being lowered? Any such checks being done?
Nishita, if you could repeat your question, please.
Are there any checks being done as far as the condition of the girl is concerned? Cameras being lowered? Any temperature checks being done to find out if the girl is in a stable condition?
Well, nothing as of now. They're concentrating completely on going ahead and completing the rescue operations, Nishita. They're ensuring that, of course, they do not concentrate on anything else. So we understand that yesterday they did try to put down a camera, but that's when they realized that there's a lot of debris out there, and that's when they realized that maybe, in fact, Akshata is out there, but on top of her, there's a huge amount of debris, which is what I was saying earlier, Nishita. In fact, the officials were telling me earlier on that the reason it's become such an issue, the reason, in fact, she could be covered by a layer of mud, is that soon after the incident took place on Tuesday night, a lot of people came together there at the borewell, and they happened to go very close. So every time they did that, they pushed in a little mud, and that led to a mound of salt on top of her, and that has also proved to be disastrous for her, which is why they've not been able to see her as such. The first time, of course, they did report that they've seen a hand, which was on Tuesday night. After that, they've not seen anything. So there are a lot of questions as to whether she is okay, whether she's alive, whether she's unconscious or conscious, or exactly what's taking place. The cameras have not been able to locate anything besides a lot of debris, and it is being said that there are a lot of ants as well out there. So that could also be a big problem for Akshata if she is alive out there. There's no doubt that the insects could also be very nauseating, a big issue in fact for her. So a lot of issues at stake there, and Nishita, they will be looking at going ahead and pulling her out at the earliest, especially after those cameras have gone down and noticed that there's debris on her, and she's probably also struggling to breathe.
Right, Akshata, thank you for joining us with all those details. Well, there we have it. A lot of problems arising for the rescue officials there as far as the digging is concerned. We can see how rocky the terrain is. It is extremely essential for the officials to first drill through this granite terrain, move it, reduce it to bits, and then clear out the debris to proceed further. It is taking an extremely long time for the officials to reach out to Akshata. Will the little girl be able to sustain herself? Well, we sure hope so.